Hello and welcome into Talk of the Town. My name is Rich Reynolds and I am not a millennial. And that's really important actually because as not being a millennial, I'm not too good with computers. And that's what we're going to talk about here on our first segment on the show today as we bring in Luke Peterson, who is joining us from Midwest Computers. Good morning.
Morning.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah, good. Thanks for coming on in. Let's talk a little bit about computers. Things must be going well. You just expanded to a second location, huh?
Yeah, we actually just took ownership of Duncan's Phone Lab, formerly JCD Repair Madison. We're going to be renaming it to Midwest Phone Lab. It's allowing us to get while you wait cell phone repairs done, which is one of the things we noticed a lot of people didn't want to have to be without their phones for more than a day, more than a couple hours even. It'll also provide a drop-off pickup location for people for their computers.
Okay, so that's pretty interesting. Besides like computer repairs then, you also do phones, tablets, yep. I'm guessing too?
Yeah, I mean, we work on PCs, Macs, Linux machines, VPNs, hardware firewalls, pretty much anything you can think of. We've done a few televisions even. I had one customer bring in a piece of equipment off of his tractor that had been damaged from the driver not watching where he was going. Was able to do some trace repairs, saved him replacing a couple $1,000 sensor that he had to have for the tractor to operate.
Okay, so basically, I'm not sure what all of those things are, but it seems like if it has a screen, you can pretty much fix it.
Yeah, screen or circuits, we can take a look.
Okay. Now, I have a wireless printer, and I still though haven't, plugged it in with the cables. That's something that you'd be able to help with, or to make me figure out how to get rid of the cable and go to a wireless printer?
Yeah, pretty much anything where you need a technician to come on site, we do that. We do on-site, in-store, even remote, where the technician can remote into your computer without you having to bring it in or the technician having to come out. We do residential, commercial, pretty much anything you need.
So what's the biggest difference in between doing residential and commercial service?
For us, there's really not a huge difference. A lot of companies tend to try and mark you up more because you own a business. We don't believe in that. We have a flat rate pricing for everybody, whether it's a residential, commercial, gets you the most value for your money. We also offer preventive maintenance services for our commercial clients, which is a much lower cost alternative than hiring your own IT staff or like having to have somebody fully committed to taking care of your IT. We do that for you on a monthly basis, and it can include on-sites, remote service. There's different levels that we can set you up with. I'm
guessing with all the things that are out there now technology-wise that there's a lot of companies maybe that are like you or do what you do. So, basically what would separate you then from your competition?
I mean, we're a local business, so we tend to provide a much more personal touch. We develop a relationship with our customers. We know them a lot better than some of the commercial places. Actually, when I was looking for my job before I got this job working with Midwest Computers, I tried applying at one of those best box stores. Asked about applying for the Nerd Squad, and they basically told me, oh, we don't hire actual technicians. We only recruit from our sales team.
Oh, really? Okay.
So they don't apparently want technicians working for them. They just want kids
geeky salespeople.
Kids that were selling computers before.
Yeah, I guess so.
Pushing warranties.
Yeah. So how did you actually get into this field? What got you going into the computer field?
When I was a kid, my dad worked for the state. He brought home a bunch of the broken laptops, computers, things from the state that they were throwing out and getting rid of. I assembled my first kind of Frankenstein machine, I called it, when I was about 11 years old. And since then, it's just been tinkering, playing with electronics, all kinds of stuff. I've got a number of certifications that more or less prove what I've learned. I've got some college, but that's more for business and management. So.
Yeah, I always wondered how much of that is actually important. I mean, the doctors put all the diplomas up on the wall.
Yeah.
Is it important to have all of that kind of stuff or just know what you know?
The biggest thing is experience. But, I mean, it's good to have the certifications. That way people know that you can back up what you say you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's got to be fierce competition. What's one of the weirdest things that you've repaired, the funniest ones?
Number of things. I mean, we've had, the tractor would probably be by far the most unusual. We've had stereo receivers in, old Atari game systems, all kinds of stuff.
Mine still works, by the way. I got an Atari 2600 hooked up, and it's working just fine. So, Luke, thanks for joining us here on Talk of the Town. We got more straight ahead as you're watching Talk of the Town right here on CW 57. And we're back on Talk of the Town as now we shift gears here a little bit and switch our focus from computers to construction as we bring in Dean Slavey from KSW Construction. Thanks for joining us today, Dave.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I've seen KSW Construction signs out and about town. How long has KSW been around?
We actually had our 10-year last summer, so we're excited about that. We started the company in 2005, and I brought my partner, Doug Slavey, my brother also, as you can tell with the name, on in about a year after that, and we've been kind of going from there.
Okay, so brothers working together. How's that working out?
It's actually pretty good. I'm more of the guy that goes out there is a little bit more, freelancer, and he's more towards the paperwork and nickel dimes and pennies, which you have to have in a company, and works out well. We have a good relationship with each other.
Absolutely, so you fit together.
Yep.
So yeah, that's really good. I think it's a pretty competitive field that you're in. So how does KSW actually attract attention then to get customers and clients?
Well, I find it very, very important. You obviously got to brand your company out there so people know who you are, and things like this are very important. And then also, you got to believe that you have to build a relationship with your clients. They can't be just a one-time deal and then walk away. We do projects from a $200 door to a $10 million project. So clients can call us on a lot of different projects, and we'll take care of them no matter what the project is. And I think they like that. And I got a relationship with most of my clients we do work with. I like to keep relationships. I think that's how you build a good, strong company.
Yeah, speaking of relationships, I think too it's important the relationships that you have with your employees. And for construction, it seems like you can have all different skill levels as far as employees go. So how do you keep the employees happy, have high morale, and retain them?
Good question. When we first started this, I worked for my dad, and my brother both worked for my dad for many years. And one thing we wanted to do is make it a family, kind of a nice place that people really want to come to work. And I always said, if you don't want to be here, then don't be here, because there's a reason. We wanted to make a family atmosphere. We do special picnics. We're coming up April 1st. I'm cooking for the guys out in the field. They're coming in, and I'm going to be behind the grill and cooking them up something to eat. We got to appreciate everything from our laborers all the way up to our management team. It's all got to work together to make what we are successful right now.
Absolutely, and those people are the ones that take you into the future too. And speaking of the future, everything's changing so rapidly, and technology changes so quickly that it's sometimes hard to keep track of. In the construction business, going forward, where do you see the challenges in the future?
Well, I think the challenges right now, and you probably talked to a lot of guys out there, is our labor. Our labor force is very low. I do believe the trade schools are very positive. ABC is another great network we use for training people. But the younger kids in high school aren't getting what the classes that we had with the shops and the things, and they're not coming out to the trades like used to. I do believe there's going to be a hard time finding people to fill these positions we're looking for. We were always looking for people, and we just can't find the younger people to train them and to get into great. It's a good occupation.
Really, yeah,
it is,
absolutely.
and it's just hard to find the right people. I think that's one of our biggest challenges as a construction and a contractor.
Yeah, I hear that a lot from a lot of different businesses, and labor, right now very hard to find. So where does that put you then 5 years from now? Where's KSW?
I want to be one of the premier contractors in Dane County or the state of Wisconsin. That's our goal. I'm not, everybody's good. There's some great contractors out there. We're not the only good contractor. I consider us one of the better ones. A little biased, but that's where I want to probably do more of our own projects in the future. Owning our own stuff and developing it and doing that in the future. That's one of our goals. I'm not getting any younger, so I, gotta go to that point.
I'm the only one.
And just grow a great company that someday I maybe pass it on to some more family members.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of family members, you mentioned you're doing the business with your brother.
Yep.
Besides KSW, do you have other business ventures you do?
Yeah, we did start a while back. I think it's going 8 or 9 years ago. We started in Stoughton Academy, Sports Enhancement Academy, the basketball camp. We got out of that about 2 years ago. My brother's son went to college, and I decided I'm getting a little old for that, so I sold out to that. Then we started about 2 years ago, Slavey & Associates, which is our brokerage firm, just because we had some clients that were very interested in having a contractor and a broker do their deals together. So I take them in there and take them look at their space, and then also give them a bid on their construction they need. So that's been going very well.
So when we did that big-time basketball game at Stoughton a couple of weeks back, that Slavey kid, that's your nephew?
That's my nephew.
All right, yeah, called it. Very nice.
Good basketball player, is he?
Absolutely. And
very proud of him.
Yeah, Stoughton Vikings won the Badger Conference, the Badger South, so that was cool as well. So thank you so much for joining us here, Dean.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you bet. And we'll have more Talk of the Town coming up right after this here on CW57. And welcome back to Talk of the Town, as we are actually filming this today on International Women's Day. It's about time we finally have a woman as a guest. So we joining us now is Kathleen Stoneman, and thank you so much for coming. She's from Metamorphosis Holistic Health, and that's a lot, I guess, to encompass right there when it comes to holistic healing. So let's talk about like your practice then, I guess, in general. What makes your holistic practice different than others?
Well, I like to address all the different aspects of a person, the physical, the mental, emotional, spiritual, and energetic. So I integrate Reiki, healing, mindfulness, spirituality, positive thinking, and other things like herbs and essential oils into my practice to support that.
Okay, you said Reiki healing?
Reiki healing.
Reiki healing. What's Reiki healing?
Reiki is a type of energy work, so it can be hands-on or hands-off, and it works on causation of illness and works on the energetic bodies and also emotions quite a bit.
Okay, so now you do acupuncture then as well. How does acupuncture treat things differently than like Western medicine does?
Well, acupuncture is holistic in nature, so it's working on the brain and on the nervous system, so it's influencing blood circulation, blood pressure, metabolism, hormones, neurotransmitters, so it helps with pain and inflammation, and it's working on the whole body all the time without a lot of side effects or any issues like that, so that's what makes it stand out from those other Western treatments.
I would think that it's probably more important to do stuff like that today than it's ever been, especially with all the stuff we get bombarded with that's kind of unnatural, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so just to get your body back into balance, and so I think it's really hard to do. I'm sure there's a lot of different ailments that you treat. What are some of those that are most common that you treat through acupuncture?
So daily I treat infertility and pain syndromes, headaches, back pain, neck pain, a lot of complaints during pregnancy, and the interesting thing is I see stress and anxiety kind of overlaid on almost all of my clients. So the more that I can help with that, the better for everyone.
Yeah, I think I'm the only one who's not stressed in the world, or at least my wife thinks that about me. I don't know.
That's a good thing.
It's not true. I've heard this about, infertility and acupuncture treating infertility before. How does that work? How do you treat infertility through needles and acupuncture?
Well, for everyone with the acupuncture, we want a calm stress response in the body so the hormones can come into balance. And we want to optimize blood flow to the reproductive organs. And then I also work on optimizing nutrition and guiding people with other aspects specific to their conditions. And I work with people who do IVF and IUI.
Okay.
So then I time treatments to those treatments.
I'm sure there are some people that just have such high anxiety when it comes to needles that they don't want anything to do with acupuncture at all. So how do you treat those then that don't want to do the acupuncture route?
Well, I have the ability to work on the meridians in the acupuncture channels with magnets or tapping. You can also do things on the ear that are using little seeds that you're taping on. So those are all non-invasive things that are working with the meridian system. And I also do more coaching and the energy work, as well as oils and supplements and other things like that.
Okay, so magnets, so what's the thought process behind that? How does a magnet work?
Well, acupuncture is tapping into electrical system of our body, really. And so when you press on a point, it's having an influence, and then when you put a magnet on a point, it's also changing that electrical conductivity, and it's affecting the point. So you can tape them on and send them home with the magnets and have a good impact without needles. So I sometimes will treat children with magnets instead of needles.
Okay. Who are some of the individuals that you treat that might actually want like a coaching type or Reiki or group class?
I think people who are going through transitions in their life, stressful times, people going through chronic pain or illness, people with infertility issues, those are all good. And people who just want to feel empowered and have some tools for moving forward in their life.
Absolutely, and I actually find this all very fascinating because sometimes you just get stuck in life and you don't know, and you keep trying the same things over and over, and sometimes trying something that you might not have thought of and try a different approach works out really well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, good. Love what you're doing, Kathleen. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
That's
you.
Kathleen Stoneman. Check her out. It's Metamorphosis Holistic Health, and we'll be back with more Talk of the Town right here on CW 57. We have kind of shifted gears a lot on this show today, kind of weaving a fine eccentric tapestry, if you will, as we've talked computers, construction, acupuncture, and now comedy. I mean, we're just running the gamut today as we bring in Miranda Hawk to talk about Clybourne Park. So welcome on in, first of all. Yeah, thanks for joining us. What is Clybourne Park? What is it all about?
Clybourne Park is a play that is in 2 acts. The first act is a direct response to Lorraine Hansberry's Raisin in the Sun. So in that play, you see the black family moving into a white neighborhood. In the first act of Clybourne Park, you see the white neighborhood's response. That act is not as funny. There are some...
It could lend to comedy. It kind of seems like an all in the family type thing.
Well, the thing actually, that's a really good analogy, because the thing about the first act is that audiences will find themselves laughing at things and then thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't have laughed at that. But it is a really heartfelt, wonderful look at the family and the challenges that they faced. The second act, we fast forward to, we're in the same house, we're in the same community. The neighborhood has changed quite a bit, but we find out that the attitudes haven't. The second act does have a lot more of opportunity to laugh, but it's also an uncomfortable laughter sometimes. A similar thing to, as you addressed, some of the old sitcoms.
Yeah.
But the laughter can be, as a director, I find myself sitting in the audiences looking at the folks around me, and they will be laughing and then nudging each other. So it's a great experience, but it's not always comfortable.
Yeah, and some of those sitcoms, you know, in the 70s kind of pushed the envelope, you know, and definitely made you feel a little uncomfortable, you know,
and this
about
play
laughing.
pushes the envelope.
Excellent. I love that. So is that, you know, the main reason to come see it? What are some other reasons to come and see Clybourne Park?
I think the main reason to come see it is that, but it also challenges you to reflect on yourself. What is it that I'm doing? How is it that I'm interacting with people who are different? It's not just about race, but that is one of the main themes.
Excellent. You know, what goes into, I guess, all of this, the creation of a theater production from start to finish? It seems like an immense task.
Blood, sweat, tears. You mean beyond that?
Right.
It is a lot of hours. We do use student actors as much as we possibly can. Everybody in this show, besides one of the actors, is a student performer. So they are taking a full load of classes, often working 1 or 2 jobs, and then rehearsing almost every evening as well as some weekends. So it does take a lot of time. We also select our productions in order to teach certain areas of performance. This show was selected because of the use of comedy, but also the dialogue and getting students really used to that conversational overlapping dialogue, realistic, natural, you know, characters who are in real life situations.
And this is going on at Midby Theater at Madison College.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about Madison College's Performing Arts. I think it's a pretty cool program.
It is a great program. I've got the best job in the world. Madison College does have a thriving performing arts program, and we have the unique situation of being able to reflect the students' experience on stage. We can offer students opportunities on stage, backstage, but we also offer all of our students, no matter what curriculum area they're in, free tickets to all of our productions.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we have a thriving music program as well.
Excellent. So how do we go about getting tickets?
mitbytheater.com. So
Okay.
it's MITBY theater.com.
Okay.
And just follow the ticket tab.
Yeah, so you got this going on, the dates of the show?
We have one more weekend, Friday and Saturday at 7:30, and then Sunday at 2.
Oh, man.
Great way to spend a weekend.
Yeah, very nice. So what other productions do you have coming up? Or?
Next year we're going to have 3 productions. We're still waiting on the rights for that, so I can't announce it yet, but they're really good.
Yeah? Okay.
Just trust me on that.
Excellent. You know, again, going back to Clybourne Park, I'm kind of fascinated by it. And, you know, my son actually, they're doing Raisin in the Sun right now. He's a sophomore in high school. And so they're going through it, talking about it, writing about it, reading it, all of that. And so it brings up a conversation that it seems like in our times now, we seem even more uncomfortable having than we did 40 years ago.
Yes. And isn't it interesting, because we like to call ourselves so progressive, especially in the Madison area. I had a student come to me after seeing the show this last weekend, and he said, wow, that was so funny, and man, it made me mad. And I thought, yeah, it should, to a degree. Yeah, that's exactly what the arts are supposed to do, make you question, make you look around life and wonder.
Miranda Hawk, our guest. Go and see Clybourne Park. That's going to do it for us here on Talk of the Town. We are out of time, but thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time right here on CW 57.